recycling everything, making all the territory yours. And then with this kind of like turtle defense, it's going to be a tough to crack considering they don't have enough ammunition. And so maybe Benji and Dread are savage here. And even though they have the weapons, they have the material, maybe wise to just go ahead and loot back up and let these guys just hang out in their turtle.
Oh, they got time. And once again, remember, this is kind of their end game. It's kind of also a win con to get damage done here, right? One of the biggest things for Benji Savage and Andretta is that they weren't really thinking about Storm Surge too much. They let Malibuka, Mustache, and Shizo heal up a little bit, win that off spawn fight. Look at what, you know, not having Surge did to so many other teams before. We saw, who was it? I forget which team, just rolling into every box, but still not having enough damage done. A lot of these teams you box fight in the middle of the game, Sancho, they only have like 50 HP.
It was Save It, Matzo, and Amplify. They were just rolling through all together here. And what this means, since there was no knocks, Hottie's trio is not going to push in. They understand here there's going to be two trios here, so that's why you're not seeing Hottie, Elo, Crass, and Co. pushing into this engagement. It looks like they gave up the Steamy Stacks, and it looks like Andretta, Savage, and Benji, they're gone. They're taking off here, satisfied with the loot that they have, and they could continue on looting up.
Yeah, there's only going to be 2 battles to really watch off of spawn that get insane. Misty Meadows used to be one of them as well, but looks like Andalek started to disengage a bit more and not get too crazy. Dirty Docks has been a little bit of a gutter fight overall. Do anything you can to win these ones. Break off lots of builds. Throw sand in your opponent's face. You know, go for all the vital organs. This is just crazy the way Putrick, Lucia, and Sapphic end up fighting here against their opponents. It also is a very long-lasting fight. Michael Verox don't let them get by for free. A lot of the time, they just end up wasting so many materials. It just feels like no one wins here compared to the fight that we see at Steamy Stacks.
It's usually a long, drawn-out fight, and that's what you're seeing here. Look at the investment in hard mats that they got from the shipping containers on Verox side of things. A little bit of open-up action right there. Putrick was able to get some nice hits there, breaking the shit. Oh my goodness!
Wow,
a little too long on that edit there, Shy.
Yeah, I think that, you know, once again, you're literally sacrificing teammates' life pools to get a shot back on a Putrick. It's just nuts, and Michael's still trying from this angle. It's crazy. I think it's a 2v3 here as well, so they really need to wrap this up and not take too much damage. You can see in Putrick's inventory as well, he doesn't have the biggest amount of shield reservoir. Verox is down though. Will get eliminated. A big shot from Michael. This man is really putting down the damage, but a 1v3 will be too much to handle. That's gonna be the fight wrapped up. 136 points for Lucius Sapphic and Putrick. It's not gonna be the worst to kind of base up from, right? Just to start with. Once again, you win a game, you get in your double-digit eliminations, that's 100 points you can add under your belt.
And just to give you an idea, I mean, when they walked into this match, they only had 124. It's just like that, you know, they're
wow,
136.
that's
You know what I mean?
Stuff, yeah.
It just feels like, you know, that double eliminations, that's 4 points apiece right there. It moves up for them. And they've been definitely having Michael Verox's and Co's number a lot better here. As we now go to other things too. Like some of these trios, in the day one broadcast, we didn't really get to see a taste of them because they were in the middle of the pack, and we saw them in the feed only. So now we're so excited to get to see what they're doing everywhere. And usually when a trio takes this spot, because you saw yesterday, Shayo, DKS and Co were up there, and now they get replaced by KS1 Light. And now we have our focus here on probably this. I don't know, man. I don't think they can run away with this format. This format is so volatile.
Why?
They have to be the one that does it, right? They have to keep being consistent, but Cammy setting Teak, you mentioned it, like no one could really throw a wrench into their drop spot because you have to commit everything to them. But Keffy is so close. If you look at the mini-map, they're always right there so close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, they had the total of 420 points. You know, the last FNCS, they were literally blazing past the entire competition. At the same time, right now, on the catch-up type beats, Eddie Cammy Teak can be a little bit more focused, I feel like. Last time they were in the flow state, this time, and sometimes they got caught off by, they were still inside the top 10, but as Levin mentioned on the desk, they didn't have as many eliminations as you know, many teams would expect them to have, being that type of low ground team. This time I feel like they're a little bit more focused, going for those elims, sticking together a bit more. And think about it this way, right? I told you, Sancho, about the entire analogy of they're the students while everyone parties, but there are no parties, so their studying isn't as effective. What happened last game? A lot of high ground retakes. Thomas HD's team focused as soon as they got into half and half. It looks like high ground is getting active again. If they just play their game, it could just be like Season 8. They could roll through with it.
Here are those other two names in the lobby that are trying to take away the crown that is the FNCS. I think a lot of the IGLs did VOD reviews and saw that the high ground was available. We were noticing that no one was trying to do a high ground retake there, as you see Cammy taking some shots, and it looks like Cammy's trio was able to find a llama because they do have some chili chug splashes.
Those chilies were used actually to great effect yesterday as well. One of the biggest differences between day 1 and day 2, I feel like, are also the zones. We had a lot of mountainous retail zones that Queasy, Thomas HG, and Nos took advantage of, and that also hurt Seti, Kemi, and Teek's type of gameplay. So it's harder to take height in those zones, but it's harder to be a low ground team there too.
This is going to be a zone that was reminiscent of day 1's game 1. And in this one, Thomas HC, Queasy, and Anas, they got in the vehicle and they just rotated dead side all the way north. They didn't stop for anything. They went all the way north and parked themselves on top of Stealthy Stronghold. So they're on the move right now, considering that they're coming all the way so far south from Caddy Corner. So that might be them, actually, because they rolled into a car.
I'm liking this leaderboard look as well. You can see all the different flavors. First place, a low ground team. Second, height connoisseurs who didn't have a chance to get there last game. Pantaste and Travis are becoming a factor as well, always starting off at height. Vidil tries to take it at some point, and then Kefi, PKR, Melody, once again, who Megalol. These guys, I have no idea how they're playing so well with such a casual type of approach compared to everyone else. They just try to adapt to every situation. I feel like they are the X factor that we don't get to see as much every endgame, but definitely are picking trios apart.
What's working really well for them right now is they are connecting on their shots. I remember watching so many dream hacks with Hen. Hen would be on a different region, sitting underneath a rift near Panther's Prow, and just destroying anyone that hit that rift. As you see Andretta, Benji, and Savage off in the distance. And here is the surprise trio of the tournament. PKR, Kefi, and Melody. And this is where they go to as well. This is exactly what's going on in game 1. Here in this area, they actually got into a box fight against Scram. And they were able to handle them really efficiently, really easily, and they got a lot of Storm Surge there. For that, they were able to rotate here. Now, my question is how our trios are going to change the way they approach Stealthy Stronghold. When you get into that bowl, you get in trouble. Kefi, Melody, and PKR, they like to build square bases. They don't do these kind of tarps every now and then. They kind of get into zone, and they kind of get a wide area, surface area, to cover a lot of angles. And right now, they're just above. So that box fight that they had in game 1, they're not having here in game 8, and that might affect them there on the later rotations.
For me, when I look at this team, I become kind of like a psychoanalyst. Or like, what's the job role when you're looking at someone who's like kind of clinically insane? Is it a type of therapist, or what's the description of that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I would say that's definitely.
So basically, I'm kind of assessing this patience, right? So I'm looking at their match history from day number 1. They're either absolutely clinically insane at the game rolling in, second place, 17 eliminations, some crazy type of action we don't get to see from really anyone else, or they're just not active at all. They're not psychopaths. They're completely sane, doing whatever they can just to go down earlier off in the game. You look at every other team around them, Sancho, they're a little bit more consistent overall. They have a bad game. That bad game's the top 10 with a few eliminations. PKR's though, talking about having a crazy game. Is that Cammy he just picked off?
Yeah.
He got a knock there.
He definitely picked off Cammy, City, and Teak on the rotation, and that's definitely going to slow down that trio, and considering that the only reboot van here is essentially in Pleasant and in Stealthy Stronghold. So we've been seeing them be at full force on the low ground as a trio. Can they operate well as a duo? They have that potential to clutch. This is worrisome to go down so early in the game and lose a very valuable asset to your trio. And now we're seeing Thomas HD getting the job done, getting those tags with that mythical AR.
I mean, he's gonna have to work overtime. Once he's 2 below, 10 seconds left until that surge will start to get active. Fox, he has to start doing something. Where's the damage at, boys?
There's no sniper in his hands. We've seen in previous FNCS seasons where
no, this gun's enough,
sniper.
Man.
It is enough, but you know, there's nothing like getting the one shot. Now it looks like they put a pad down. This is how it's gonna happen. Storm Surge, they are going in a short pad. They have no choice here. They're going to get in and fight. They didn't get as far as deep as they wanted into zone because Storm Surge is a factor here. And now we have a very dangerous box fight that they're going for.
I think they were just getting beamed by another team that was right beside them in Surge as well, because as Thomas HD got damaged, they got even more below Surge. This is another struggle city nation of a game for Queasy and Austin Thomas HD. It's not fall damage this time. It's lightning damage and the type of Surge. This is just nuts. Look at every top team right now. Chapix is the only one, Sasha, you called it out, that you saw landing shots. It's the only one that is landing shots in the server. And we said he Teak 61 below. Thomas HD 256 below. They need a box fight That's drastic. He's gonna get knocked on the top POV of your screen. And Nas is now low HP. He's gone as well. It's all up to Queasy. Queasy needs to land 2 insane pump shots to keep his team in the game. It's just the blue pump though. Chapman's gonna get a little bit rattled as well, but it's fine. It's just a long range type of battle. Cammy has done everything properly in terms of getting last second beams. They're fine on the bottom right, but look at Queasy, 41 above now. It's looking okay, but he's lost his team, Sancho. 157 from him. He rolls in 2 big shots as well. That's a lot of damage. Pleasant Park has a reboot van, but I'm not sure they have time to get their team back in action.
This is what happens, folks. We all could see who they're going up against, but they don't. They're going up against enemy builds, and all of a sudden you open up an enemy build and you're going up against a Benji and Dreda and Savage. So that is what's so nightmare situation for when you have Storm Surge, and Queasy actually gets an elimination on Dreda. Queasy's still up on his feet, getting some valuable eliminations considering the 4-place piece. It's very, very valuable.
I really need to see Queasy's POV to see if he can actually get out of the situation. How many eliminations is he actually going to have? It might be equivalent in terms of, you know, these elims. They're double points. He might get the 24th place of a clutch in the sense of Thomas HD in an endgame. Cammy's back up as well. Queasy's surviving. He has a chance to go. He took out Deceptos as well. This is nuts. Queasy's really going through and in. He's getting the reboot up for his whole team. The equipment is a little bit further back in terms of getting them back inside the game. The zone is moving away. There is a launch pad to recycle. They're on a timer though, so Thomas HD should be up. Anas should pop in here as well momentarily. There it is, the entire team back in action. But that zone take, once it gets to the 4th zone, Sancho, what is it, 5 over and over again? It's going to be tough.
Still very valuable if they were able to get maybe a couple of placement points here. They have a med kit as for Anas. He's going to go deep. They have a pad. It's going to be an old school pump pad. There's one ramp up as high as you can go and pad in and hope for the best. I mean, that's the only decision that they have here. They actually go for a low pad. It may not be enough to get in here, but I would expect to go a little bit higher considering that you would not expect someone to come in late. It looks like Benji's right here. Nice bunny hop, but wow, what a clutch from Queasy to keep his trio in this match.
And this is the first time we're seeing it really happen in the mid game. Usually for this team, it's some crazy end game stuff. Wait a minute, we're playing trios though, right? Where's their last player? Are they in? Once again, this is what happened on full screen. Thomas HD, first line of attack broken. Anas, the second, big tower down. Queasy, just the common man, rolling it in, takes out Savage. After that, another big pump. Gets his next frag right there, and he's looking for even more. He tries to go for a beam on Deceptos up in the air, and gets that last second shot. Gets the big siphon. I mean, actually, I don't even think that shot came in. I think it just got the siphon from the backside of the zone, but let's just say it did for the hype, you know what I mean? Let's just say it did for that. In my mind, that almost came in. He did one more bullet, but it's all good.
For the clip, you can edit. It'll look good. It'll look good. But that's a great clutch for Queasy, and now you're seeing what Storm Surge does. It doesn't matter your level of skill. It doesn't matter if you're mechanical prowess. When Storm Surge starts knocking on your door, you're going to have to move and get into the zone, and that's what Queasy did. And FNCS champions prowess right there, getting the job done for his trio.
Look at this POV though, Chapman and Tayson. I feel like I'm watching speedrunners play the game. You know when you find a glitch in a wall and you go somewhere else entirely? Everyone else is dealing with Surge. They're padding. It feels like they're doing some crazy intensive cardio.
They're unseen.
And they're out of breath.
They're unseen.
Meanwhile, you see Tayson, it just seems like he's using an any percent type of glitch speed run. He's moving, swimming outside the back of the zone. No one's beside him, inside the walls of the map. Like, it's crazy the difference in gameplay they're playing versus every other team.
This is perfect position to going to this base, going to be able to recycle and get a little bit of brick out of this here. And they basically disrupted Benji's run. Benji's by himself because he took out Indreda and Savage. So this is really great to see here. And that we get another stealthy stronghold finish. I did see Aqua in the middle in a satellite base, as you see Fast-Roki able to get a knock on Lazarus. But let's see the clutch right here. Woo! Woo! He's on one. He's on one.
Man. This is nuts. Bad sniper taken out at almost full shields as well. They're going to just scoop up a whole player's worth of inventory. Mats, one of the biggest stipends they can get. And oh my god, the launch pad with peppers as well. We're talking about Thomas HD, MVP of day number 1. I understand there was a big clutch coming in on that second game, but look at Queasy right now. He's just insane. Another pump, takes the damage, trades, and survives. They have so much space here. Anas, Thomas HD, you better catch up. I think Thomas was stopped. Mirza traded by Nas as well. They're going straight forward. This is an all-in. There's 739 damage above. Queasy's also going to be knocked down to low HP. There it is, confirming for us that Thomas HD has just been knocked out. No chance for a reboot from here either. Queasy's low, and now it's up to Anas with no mats to clutch.
It is Trulex, the former teammate of Queasy, when they made their FNCS champion run to douse the fire of Thomas HD. But the man of the match right now is Queasy with 4 eliminations and against the big names of the region. Now we're going to see, can Queasy and Anas clutch, because their superstar of Thomas HD is out.
Feels like I'm watching a cricket game all the time. There's just one batter running from one side to the other. The next ball rolls in. You have to switch it up duel-wise and have someone else try to go for the big clutch shot, the 6 runs. And right now, Queasy and Anas, they'll work in tandem. They'll try to move. We know they have that launch pad from Bad Sniper. They're going to find a good place to put it down. Every other team is going to be so low, though, in terms of looking at their elevation, looking at a shot for them. Queasy's in trouble. 21 HP. A lever action shot from any distance will get him out now, and he has to be very, very decisive in terms of how he moves. If everyone launches, though, they could be able to just run in through the jungle.
Through the jungle, hanging out with all the shadows of, is the Predator still around here? I mean, that's what Queasy is right here. He's become the Predator of Stealthy Stronghold. No eyes are on him. This man must be camouflaged. Anas picked up an Elam right before they walked out of this rotation, but what an unbelievable performance that we're witnessing here in Queasy. That's why we're all eyes on him. Look at this. No one's seen him. This man's wearing a bright red and yellow Ferrari outfit. Hello? Oh, there we go.
This might be the mighty jungle.
Okay, this
POV of
no
a lion right now.
No
man
way.
is not sleeping, though. Yeah, no, 100%. This is no way he's going to be able to actually get out of this one. This has to be a snooze POV. 130 mats, too.
Great run
outside of Queasy. I don't think Anas has any at all. Snappy's focusing him, but it's just him right now that's looking over. Steadicam might clap back because it looks like they need the damage and maybe even the inventory. But as Queasy tries to find more room to breathe, it'll be the air of Steadicam that'll be trying to, you know, breathe in. That's not going to be something that is going to be allowed. Unless it is, they're living right now. 2 mats, 1 left. First place POV, or ex-first place POV, by the way, as they keep trying to roll in. Yeah, Queasy, no shot.
Okay.
Anas is alive. Anas is not. Okay, it's done. It's done. That's wrap for now. Look at height, though. Same perspective as last game. Chapvik's head going to be rolling in. Taste and seeing exactly how they move. They're going to be looking really good as everyone else is pushed far forward and a lot lower in that supreme first place slot. Steadicam overall low. Their shields are not going to be as high, but look at the focus. Look at the perspectives they're looking at in terms of the damage they're trying to put down. It is just singling out zone players looking for any Elam possible.
Beautiful play to see that pad there was open, get some valuable tags. But look at this zone. You go from all the beauty to the ugliness of a majority water zone. And considering that a lot of mats were expended, this is going to be something where IGL leaders are going to have to work really hard. But TCam and SETI are cooking on all cylinders.
I don't think you guys understand how impressive that was from SETI to land and actually diagonally expand a layer up. Every build placed perfectly for his team to just roll in and have a super base of 17 angles to work from. SETI's just insane. I know it's not a crazy one-shot hospital flick pump, but that was beautiful. Cammy now gets to activate through that. Trulex is still popping off. Kepi gonna be down on that surge, but finally it goes away as the 7th zone locks in.
Remember I told you that box fight that they needed, it hurt them a little bit here and made them dip into their minis, but this is a rotation. This is nicely done. This is what they've been doing in the previous all day one. These outer rotations keeping out of the scrum, and then they move right in, they cut someone off and get an Elim.
Surfing around this ocean right now on the side of the island. Wave is about to crash, though, as the zone locks in. They're all going to be going over towards the land. Teak traded by Crow. SETI finds a pick on the Nebs. ET2 going to clap back Crow as well. It's a 3-way fight as SETI actually goes down, so I think it's just Cammy looking to do the biggest difference now. Yes, we're going to tune in with him. 2 eliminations, 314 points. Every single team that goes down is a slew of big shifts happening on the board. And Cammy's still alive, looking for anything right now, taking damage from the zone. Where's it going to be? The next shot he's going to take is going to be all the way down on low ground, going down towards the left, over and over again. A whole team inside of a box in front of him, but he doesn't have the firepower really to go for multiple shots. It's a charged shotgun. It takes time to reload, and only has 1 shot to make.
Exactly. Only 1 opportunity to get some points. It will be 4 points and maybe an additional bonus placement point. So Cammy's going to be very careful here with no builds and no opportunity to edit here. He's going to have to catch somebody, but already a big trio, 2 trios here on the opposite side. And can be some movie, gets in the truck. Yes, gets in, just stay. Oh no, he almost had the play X squeeze, closes that out.
Hatchback clutch not possible. Close the truck door on that one. Tayson though, he has a big 18 wheeler on height just in terms of power, torque, and damage. They don't need wheels, just need beams and POVs of any player's head right now. Jan is actually being knocked down. That's a big player in endgame to deal with that this team won't have to this time. All fully alive against 4 other different teams, but Deal might be able to get that res though. Quiet as Link looks for his POV. 4-0 squeeze rolling in as a trio. They're also going for the big fight.
When the low ground has been taken away, the Stealthy Stronghold wall, the water, all that is gone, it's the high ground that will benefit. And the mid ground, and in the mid ground benefiting really well is Vadil and Noah Riley.
Looking for their next opportunity. A dynamic duo yinning on both sides, one of the most lethal forces inside the game. In the end game, box fight territory, it's natural. Every shot hitting from Noah Riley. This man's not even shaken to a score at this moment. 9 eliminations between this duo, one of the most lethal in the entire world, and they have more teams to deal with. Chapix right above them. A shot, a millisecond that Chapix actually sees through. He's the stopper. He's the believer. He just takes out almost both players, but Vadil is there. Mistimed shot at the end. They get second as the Height team finally lives the dream and takes their victory royale.
Here we go, folks. It is starting up. So much victory royales are going to be able to swing the big factors. And let's take a look at some of the chaos and the replays of this in-game. But it was Hen, Chapix, and Tayson that were able to walk away with the eliminations and the victory royale to claim the double the points. And I cannot wait to see what happens to the leaderboard, Shio.
Having Chapix stop that duo, though, that's just insane. I haven't seen anyone be able to take them on 1v2, especially when they're hot like that in an endgame. You know that Chapix really wants his team to do well right now and really wants to secure dubs, especially when they have height game after game after game.
That's a tough edit to do. The double edit to go through while you're getting pushed right up against that verticality there. Really tough to do. No Riley Vadil couldn't do much, and Vadil was so close to getting that confirmed. So that's 4 points they just missed out, but still some great action all around. We're gonna have to bring in Zeke, Levin, and Reese to see how that shakes up the leaderboard here going into game 9.
Don't even worry, Sancho. We got you. Right from the very beginning, we saw 99 players still left alive and almost hitting second zone. It wasn't until Astro and company finally went down they were like, okay, is there anything else happening? And then all falls apart here in the end game. Levin, my goodness, 335 points from Hen, Tayson, and Chapix after that. And you know, I have to think about it. That victory royale, those points, right, suddenly allowing them to skyrocket up, and now we have a battle at the top.
No, yeah, a real statement of intent, right, from that trio, and I think, you know, that is almost one of the perfect environments for them, right? A zone where everybody has to sort of drop to a low elevation, they sort of weigh it out a bit and realize, hey, look, we could just take height and top it out. You know, they're really good at controlling space, and when they have lots of different space to choose from, they typically make the right decision, and you saw that there. And of course, some great mechanics at the end from Chapix, right, to sort of close it out. Really and truly, like I said before, man, we really do have a lot of these top teams in this battle, right? We have an idea of who the best teams are, and typically we see some team hitting their peak before others, certain teams maybe not having the best tournament. It just seems like all of these guys are really just sort of on their A game right now.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things about the fact that Hen, Tayson, and Chapix were actually able to win that game is because Queasy and Ass and Thomas HD, the disruptors, are no longer in that game, right? You've got to think that Queasy's team known for taking height and basically in that 5th zone exactly when Hen's team was able to hold it all the way through movings till that victory royale moment. And because of the disruption that they laid out to themselves with Thomas HD, as you can see Queasy and Ass going down early, notice 234 below the storm surge. Basically because this is a max distance zone for them, right? They didn't manage to get the tags on going from Catty Corner in the southeast all the way up to the northwest, basically where Pleasant Park is. And we saw the kind of fumblings that happened there. They had to try and figure out what Thomas and Anas could do, going down repeatedly, and then a huge solo clutch up from Queasy.
Yeah, no, you know, Queasy really impressed me in this game, right? You know, showed some real courage and character. You know, of course, his teammate Thomas has been phenomenal, you know, sort of all tournament long, but when the going got tough, he stepped up. He was able to get some eliminations as a solo against some of the premier players. You can see here catching Andrea out. Andrea, you got caught with his pants down. Obviously getting the reboot as well was great, and really just helped his team salvage some key points to keep them in this battle. Of course, yeah, we know they're not sitting at the top right now, but they'll look back at this by the end of it, I'm sure, and go, that was a key game in us being successful in this tournament.
I already see a tweet from Refsguard saying, what did Queasy just do? This is exactly what he did. 3 eliminations as a solo, gets the reboot up, launchpads his teammates back into zone with him. They get another 3 eliminations each, so 6 total after that whole kerfuffle, the whole mess that they had there, gets all the way in. So huge pop-offs there. And we also got to look at Cami City, who were at the same position, really struggling with Storm Surge there too in that earlier zone, but clutched up a little bit. And interesting enough, they went down to their nemesis from the previous FCS, from Chapter 2 Season 8, Diox's team.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's funny how things come full circle, especially in this sort of final event. You mentioned, Storms have struggles for these guys. We saw, hints of it yesterday. I feel like everybody is, right? We're seeing just how stacked these games are, where, we're going into, first sort of surge threshold, and there's still like 99 players left, basically. It's like, there's going to be a lot of teams struggling, and I'll be interested to see how some of these deal with it, because honestly, I think people do obviously put time into strategizing surge and making sure they're prepared for it. But we're seeing basically all of our top teams really struggling with it, right? And it is just a very hard lobby right now to deal with surge. So in-game adaptation will be important in this next game. So hopefully we can see some cool stuff come out. But I think a lot of people are timid, right? There's so much money being played for. You don't want to take too much risk.
Further and further behind on the standings, but
all right. Factor every time one of our right now it's Hen, Chapix, and Tayson
Powers while stopping one of the crazy as well from a clutch POV. That being said, though, every top team is surviving. Exactly how they roll. Because we're at game 9, got 3 more to go on the day after this one, and they're going to be coasting by. This is where yesterday, Sancho, they started to elevate, pick things up. The first 2 games, 12th place, didn't look too good. They're already playing together today, it seems like. Now we got to see those wins, got to see those top 3.
In the back half of 3 games, right, we got those 2 back-to-back victory royales, and that was able to put them in that position. I know there was a lot of memes on the internet talking about day 1 wouldn't really matter much, but it was all about performance. They were able to execute what they were doing well, especially getting those back-to-back runs. And right now, Kemi getting that playbook play where he's landing early and getting the knocks. It's actually Kemi and Seti picking up Michael Verloc.
They're picking up another team entirely as well. It looks like Link and Fury are going to be going down. Last year, in this side, different POI. That's classic. The fact that they got access to Dirty Dogs, that just
down Savage. While they get tagged along the way here, considering this is a stretch of a POI. Yeah, man, it's a stretch of a POI. The more of a stretch that no one's going to give opportunities to the Honey Trio and or another trio getting attacked here as T confirms the Dirty Dogs trio. And then Greta here, it looks like Malibu and Salsa will have to work together considering Mustache is not in this battle.
I'm gonna call this a circus drop, all right? Basically, when you're at the circus, you have those carnival games, or maybe a carnival drop. You get to play those ones where you have a water gun and a target from long range, and you're just gonna shoot that target over. Right, exactly. Your kid's favorite, and the player's favorite for these carnival drops, because Seti Kemi did it from a mountain to Dirty Docks. Poddy just did it from a mountain all the way to the stacks. Every time you have these long drops, you have to go to the carnival basically, and it's so bad for the team landing at the major PY.
That is what's entailed here. Every tag matters. Salvager was able to survive that. Let's see if they're able to get these eliminations here. And Salvager not even better. We saw it in the previous game. It was Queasy that kind of threw the wrench in their run, and we've always talked about it's these opening moments. They still have a lot of work to do when it comes to the end game.
That's right. How Savage, great pistol, trying to get some damage down. It literally turns into a clown fiesta too. Start from the carnival. get a little bit more goofy with it. This is the weirdest we've ever seen and the most shambles we've seen this team try to go for damage earlier at this drop.
They're not going to get damage against. No, that Mac truck is going to absorb all that. It has no windows on the backside, so smart play to be able to get in the backside of that, and they're going to be able to now scoot away freely inside the fence and try to have this PY to themselves. I'm just waiting though for that body kind of third party here, but we got some great replays of what went down in those opening moments.
My God, they are off spawn. It's just not fair. Look at Versage. Wow. It's flying in, and he goes down.
Wow. That is unfortunate. That is the worst feeling in any battle royale is when you don't even get to. We always talk about go outside, touch grass. Bro, I can't even touch grass in the Fortnite Island before you get taken out. Come on now.
That's tough. I think Cammy might have tried to. Actually, yeah, they got the full eliminations too. So a lot of the times when you're from these perspectives, these POVs, at least in the earlier seasons, it was really tough to find the elimination. People could hide up in bushes. There wasn't really anything to get you all the way to that POI, but with the slipstreams there at the crash site, with everything there, Teddy came with boost up. I think from those 2 eliminations as well, they got first place, right?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Just those 8 points right there overtakes Hen, Tayson, and Chapik. The leaderboard you're saying is what we came into this match here. So no placement points have yet been accrued. So Cammy Santi, defending FNCS champion, on top.
At 336 right now, the team right behind them, and Tayson Chapik's 335. So they get to live. If Surge is fine for them, which it will be, because just got those crazy tags and those full finishes. That's about 400 damage, I think, in total they have right now.
Live to get eliminated another day, as I always say.
Our Tayson Hen and Chapik's are also going to have that type of same beat. It's really cool to see them. Once again, I mentioned this yesterday, in the kind of bubble of a POI. With Hot Body on the right, so many people fighting in Pleasant, in the Lighthouse and Coral on the left. No one has time to look at Craggy Cliffs. That's why they just get by. This car may as well be the most invisible one on the map. No one's going to look at it. No one's shooting it. They just get to roll in for free.
They usually roll in deep inside the center of the safe zone. Then we'll see where they end up being positioned as we're trying to take a check in to our top teams here. This is the Philippines team with Thomas ATP and Nas and Queasy live on the social media feed with this question.
I think it's about time to stop the clutches, though. This is what kind of got them on the social media feeds at the start of the day, and then after that to stay on the prestigious, memories of FNCS, to have something to actually put down and solidify. It was teamwork in those last 3 games that got them rolling up. So stay ahead of Surge. We're on top of the pyramid right now. I was asking, hey, who are the pharaohs? Look at them on their throne, or what do pharaohs sit on? Is it the throne? Is it the top of the pyramid? I'm not sure. Lots of pyramids. But GKR, Kefi, and Melody, who some people are also talking to the DMs. His name translates to young, but I'm going to keep rolling with Melody for now. Shout out Gold, that is. It is the wave. They're looking so good overall consistently, Sancho.
This is a new position that I have yet to see them take in this FNCS set lobby. A lot of great sight lines. It's all going to come in the matter of hitting your shots. Considering they have a lot to work with the AR. The pyramid, very deceptive. In the other regions, a lot of trios have been doing really well in this area, considering there's a lot of chests to go through. There's a lot of floor loot as well. But now it's just a matter of getting those shots. There it is, a nice 20 tag. One thing that we rarely talk about Storm Surge is that it's affected by how the other players are doing. So the other players are doing really well, W King maybe getting eliminations, that Storm Surge threshold will go higher. So it doesn't matter if you have these great positions, you've been getting all your tags. If the rest of the lobby is aggressive, which this one is not, I'm just saying, that's a factor we rarely think about when it comes to Storm Surge.
If people actually end up W King more, that ends up getting Surge actually easier for the players. That team's alive, right? So yeah, when the bases are up and people, you're right in that sense, we're actually hitting their tags, then it gets super tough. And we're seeing every team is. Look at the backside now. We didn't really get to see this perspective of the leaderboard. Flowist, Hellfire, Scram, they're going to be at the top of it for now. It's 6th place, 239. If you look at the top 5, the difference is almost getting closer to 40, 50, 60 points. Over here, 200 ties for 9th and 10th. Futric fighting off Spawn, Karma, Kylie always in the business. Yeah, look at the difference entirely. It's almost 100, right? There's 30 points off of it. It's a 70-point difference. But from 5th or from 6th to 10th, it's a much closer game, Sancho.
Is essentially these trios right here, they need the ones in the previous from 5 to 10, they need to have 2 good games to catch up to anyone in the top 5 here. In the top 5, it's just going to be like, which one of these 5 ends up winning? I feel like that's how much of a swing. It's literally, that's how much of a swing it is here, as you're seeing that Monaco PKR is getting picked up by Bubat. But I think that's really going to come down to. Yeah,
I want that POV then. I want that POV right now. Why are they getting picked up? I wanted to mention this as well. Like mental patience sometimes.
Oh, you always do. You always do.
Saying, let me add to that. So they're like consistently inconsistent. Yesterday, their placements not that crazy. They have crazy pop-off games, double-digit games, top 5. We haven't seen that today. A 13th and an 8th, the 2 eliminations each. Where is the Cafe PKR and Melody from yesterday? We were heralding so much the entire time. We need that pop-off game. Then they're just really amazing. Even Ghost is flying ways, right, Chelsea? We were going crazy. Once again, Ghost was... How? What is this? He's the warden of EU. He's not allowing anyone to move anywhere for free. And now he's getting stopped 2 out of 2 games. That is just not normal.
And now we're seeing that Mersash is out back into this, and now Abuka and Ko pushing into Corny there. Called Ruckus. The deal is Janice O'Reilly in second place here. Mike calls it Ruckus within striking distance. And you can see the stat here as a full trio. He has 4 trio eliminations, more than any players. And O'Reilly, that man wipes out people on the face of the lobby.
Hey, he's the healing speed. I think we just go back and look at different calls over time. At some point, we are saying, yup, Noah Riley, the crazy ops. That's kind of like our filler word that we can always rely on. But the issue is, once again, I feel like they're becoming more and more invisible, Sancho. 489 points, 4th place overall. I mean, they got, you know, overall inside that last game, top 4, almost second, it looked like, but they're not really taking control of the game.
They're changing the way they play. Remember how they did this? They all of a sudden they stop being aggressive, going W keyed, and they go back into a base up strategy. We saw that happen. That was with Aqua though. So the deal, Noah Riley and Janice, you're taking a little page from that previous 2 seasons ago in the FNCS and be able to put that together. DKS eliminating Amplify. So Amplify match will save it. Maybe running out of steam at the wrong time.
They're talking about running out of steam, bringing up a certain amount of Shirley's ball onto last game and the same one this game as well. I'm talking about what's going on with them? Reason's popping off. I feel like I've seen this name multiple times today, but I'm looking at the placements. I keep seeing 2 numbers here, Sancho. It's supposed to be top 10 consistently at least.
No.
What's going on?
They were in that great position early zone there. And the storm surge. Basically, like the ball is being taken by so many people. You look at where they're from. If you took a look at that drop spot map, there's just so many trios surrounding that. That crash site from north and south, the one at Coral and the one at Believer Beach has introduced a trio. So where do you go? I thought they would push into beating and maybe to get those storm shots, maybe get some eliminations, but obviously Aqua missing Noah Riley in the deal. You can't just release a W key strategy. You're gonna have to mix it up, and when your storm surge plays is being taken occupied, you got nothing else to do.
Fortnite, it really relies on pattern. The way teams move, the way certain bases like to activate and play throughout the game. What I'm trying to get at is the pattern in this game is going to be very different. One thing we saw a lot in the feed in this last game we just watched, game number 8, was Pink, Nevis, and Shulex that were doing a lot, taking off a lot of teams. With Mustache rolling into 20 Cops, which is, by the way, the home zone we're looking at. It's the entire circle surrounding. They're going to be playing a lot differently than the other trio of Shulex. They're not kind of passive with their bases, right? So they don't like to affect as many teams. Not really the activator like Shulex did. We saw him taking out Weezy at certain points. As a result, look at Aqua. We talked about Surge, where he can go. He's active. A lot of other teams, like Hen, who were looking for damage, I think they were trying to damage Versace's team. They got caught back immediately. Even though Riley was able to dodge fight, this will be a much different mid game.
Let's see if Noah Riley could get himself another full trio wipe here. Tuna and Co now are being barreled up. That's 1. Noah Riley, you gotta be careful. You can do it again. now is in danger in the crosshairs. The full points, the trio, Noah Riley. Taken out Aqua's trio before, but it's a different caliber of player. When you're going up against Noah Riley, Janice. That's one knock. Wait, did Noah Riley get that one? Who got that one? Okay, Janice got that one. I was about to say, Noah Riley cannot get another trio here. Now here comes Tuna Sky as a last-ditch effort here. And Noah Riley got 2 out of the 3. Okay, my man. And he got that right there, but that is the difference of caliber of player. Tuna Sky's trio was able to get Aqua in the previous match. Not Tuna Sky, my friend, but Noah Riley and Janice here are here to put the brakes on that run.
And difference in pattern as well overall. Tuna kind of playing that edge zone line, bullying out a lot of trios last game. In this one, now that we're back in this position, they're based off center map. That means everyone box fighting like the deal Noah Riley.
And they were so lucky that they wrapped us that quickly because Kylie's been code and that's what got them in trouble in the previous day. If they could have clean box fighting to deal Janice and Noah Riley, we'll be able to do so well. Let's take a look at the replay here of the team you're talking about, that they're having these issues, and no, they get taken out in a blink of an eye.
This is just reminding me of game 3 yesterday. I think that's the one where they slipped in as well. Sancho, they were in first, and then they got overtaken by 50 points. With the double point format, they will now be behind 100+ points now, going out this early in a game. When you're in the top 5, you cannot go down early.
It's hard, you know, when you're in a lobby with the big names. We've interviewed many pros where the confidence goes up. You have that day 1 confidence, and when all of a sudden you start collecting L's early in day 2, that's where things fall behind. But right now, an L is being dished out on Tayson Hen and Chapix, who are behind, and they're going to take a box fight against Fly and Co.
Oh my goodness. Get 2 L's in there, combine them together, make it a W. Tayson handing one out himself. Gets so much damage done and is now 196 damage above that surge. You can really even go for this box fight. It's isolated for now, but suddenly the population will grow as many people come in from the north side of the zone. They're leaving the safety of the circle to go for this damage and this fight, but they're exposing themselves. Chapix, put some clothes on. Bill, what is this? It's too cold for you to be out here. I understand there's disrespectfulness and you know, cockiness overall, but this is too much.
It looks like Cammy took out Andretta, and then the rest of the trio, Savage and Benji, got taken out by other trios. That trio is gone, and considering that they had a great start here, and this would be a home field advantage for them, considering that they're 1 skip away from Corning Complex, coming from Steamy Stack. So what a big L for that trio. They really need this game, considering that they're in that area where 2 games will get them into the top 5.
And anyone going down before that top 24 threshold as well is just missing out on so many free points and, you know, perspective and opportunity for a lot of eliminations as well. Endo gifted an airdrop inside his base is going to be huge. The last time we saw that, it was this perspective of Thomas HD, who has caught up to that 300-point threshold with the easy placement being handed out for making it this far in the game. And this man is really spreading apart the damage, Sancho. Look at that stat.
18 of the other 32 trios. He has 1 elim. He's not going to be popular when he's going to be on social media. It's like they see this man on the feed, and this is what you're going to get here with Thomas HD. You're seeing the trio just didn't pull the 4th zone. They were able to rotate very nicely here, and that's what hurt them last game. They weren't able to get in all the way as comfortably as they did in that northwest pool here, but at least no other trios in sight. No worries about anyone W-keying them for Storm Surge.
Yeah, they actually look like they have a base now. They're looking at other teams. They're not kind of behind on the clock. They're controlling time, which is huge for Thomas HD.
And Stealthy Stronghold's not here, that fortified base that you cannot break through on the low ground, so that's going to be a big factor for them as well.
For Stars, Malabuka also on height aren't going to be the easiest to deal with in terms of a retake, but they're not also going to be the loudest in terms of punishing people as they rotate into the zone. So Thomas HD and Squeezy have a chance to move in. We've seen them unexpectedly from the shadows just take over high ground. And we've seen Malabuka Shizo used to be the classic trio that likes to do that a lot. So they might get their own strategy used against them if they're not aware enough. Meanwhile, Teak, Seti, and Cammy, minimalistic. You might have seen some crazy bases all the way around, multi-layered. These guys just need 3 metal boxes, almost 600 damage above Surge. They're looking good.
And Alex in the feed, have yet to see his day 2 run. We're going to wait for that. This is the halfway point here, game 9 of 12. We're going to head into the I really think right now, whoever wins this in the top 5 is going to overtake. It's just going to be that way. And it's almost going to feel like a match point situation, considering that our top 5s are so close and they are being very consistent.
I mean, what's on the line then for Seti Kamitik in this game? I mean, at 350 points, overall in second place, you're right. They win this one, they separate themselves from the pack, especially if Taste and Chapix on the bottom left side of your screen have issues. For Thomas HD, I know we're buffing him up. Look at the difference though. It's 50 to 57 points away for this trio. They're kind of half a game away from Cammy and Chap's trio respectively. What they really need to do is catch up here, Sancho. If Thomas HD, Queasy, and Anas do not have a good game here, they're no longer in those 5 teams that might win the day overall. They start to fall really, really behind.
And this is what they do. They're fine with having 0 eliminations. We've been in the end game, and all of a sudden they finish with a victory round. They get a knock here, but they get a victory round with like 6 or 7 elims. So they're in a good position. They got 2 right here, looking very great. Maybe they'll be able to pick up the pieces of this loop, but I like the play. Now they're gonna have to rotate, but they got a lot of trios to rotate through here, Shayo.
Yeah, I think attitude, metaphysically, they're in a good position, right? The overall zen. What's that thing called inside the room? The feng shui is looking good for Thomas HD, Anas, and Queasy. The issue is the actual position in game. You're right. Every trio is on the south. Everyone is here. It's an ultimate situation for these guys to kind of get around. They might just go towards the right side, through the middle of the zone. I like that.
On the right side is Cammy Sedetik. You see them right there. They're going to go ahead and rotate for him. They did pad a pad here. It's a clean pad right down the middle, and no beam sent their way. They're not even being focused currently on the high ground. Nicely done. Now it's all about getting back together quickly and building them. There we go. Whew. That's always scary. Nice central base there on the edge.
At the same time, this is where they lose. That landing is where they have a lot of tricky situations happening, a possible lobby focus moment. Queasy does almost lose all his shield, but as long as it doesn't get cracked down, they don't hear that noise of the it's all fine, right? They can just sit back and chill.
Now they're going to focus on that here. Coming into the in-game transition, mid-game to in-game, Joe Nada and co. Karma and Kylie are sitting up at the high ground. There is Noah Riley underneath them, but it's the defending FNCS champions here with 362 points, who are currently in second place based on the output of this match, are looking for a nice refresh with the use of the Harpoon.
They started second, got those early picks, and now even more. They're definitely all the way in first right now. Taysom does not have the equivalent eliminations inside this game. They're going to be at 364 rolling in. They're really pushing that lead. Thomas HD in third is looking to catch up to these 2 big teams. And then past that, Janice Vidal, Noah Riley inside the top 5 are also there in this game looking to ride right by.
Literally, if you blink, Cammy Sedetik will take first place, and that's what happened to me. I blinked, and they took out Indretta, and they were holding down that northeast side of the zone, and they're going to have a lot of builds heading this way.
Yeah, still once again, I just want to mention Seti. The way this man sets up tarps and sets up his team to be active, to move away and launch pad from crazy spots, it's just perfect. I understand that Cammy's doing the most with the clutches, but Seti is setting up so much for his team to just play to this game. You see
Thomas HC and co are making a play for the mid ground. They might have control of the high ground, but let's take a look at right here with Cammy Sedetik here, who are known to be a low ground warrior, developing this style that is reminiscent of great teams who are low ground warriors like Edgy and co. I think of Exet way back in the day, were able to be these low ground warriors. Cammy Sedetik doing it well, and they're looking to trip up the mid ground.
This is a very classic position they're used to. No one else really is going to commit to this low of a lair where you're supposed to crouch to move in. Mirza DKS, though, with Gray, they're all the way up on height. They're the ones who control this game. Orero finds a big shot on the Kylie on the backside of the mid-round of zone. Karma going down to ETQ as well. There's lots of action all the way around and away from these top teams. They're just getting ready for their game in this next zone.
Tayson and Chapix here with 3 elimination. You mentioned they have to catch up to Cammy Sedetik with the elimination output, but they're now working on the outer side of the 105 from Hen with a quick reaction time to be able to save Tayson, but Tayson actually now gets knocked from ETQ. It's going to be the former co-operative duos of the FNCS run of Chapix and Hen who did this yesterday, and they got some valuable points, but now Hen is gone. So now Chapix here, the dysfunctional trio. Maybe the comms were off, and now we have to see if Chapix can get the job done.
Definitely an issue with timing there. Hen trying to pick up the scraps, but not going to find anything off the ground. Chapek's looking now as a solo to make things work. Screwy popping off. If they go down now, Steady Kami Deke as a trio on low will look so good. But what a good pickup on a Kuriachi. Another FNCS type winner looking to see himself going knocked down as Chapek picks him up. He's got a lot to look at with this harpoon here. Pick up all the mats, possible met tip for an off-heal play. He's gonna drop that harpoon though. Might be this all-in he's looking for.
He was so worried about getting beamed. That's why he was trying to utilize the harpoon. There's a legendary AR that he was unable to see and pick up here. So now Chapek is gonna make his way through. He has, builds. Oh no, T
and Thomas HD both down. So that's huge in terms of the top three. Shizo also getting shaded. Sky goes down, and there goes Chapek's. Unfortunate. It's Noah Riley to pick him up. Put the pedal to the metal on the gas to catch up. Their mid ground. They got so much control, and they're alive. Seti and Kami, both 1 HP. They're not out just yet. Seti now at 1. He finally goes down 371 points. Anas and Queasy are still here. Thomas HD was merely just a rocket, a part of the ship to get into this stage, and now they can also clutch up.
What a huge pickup for the third place team to pull down the second place, and now they have an opportunity considering it's big bonus points time.
Yeah, Barrero also still popping off from the start of this moving zone. They're finally getting silenced now by Shady. They're really making things go crazy all the way on height. Queasy and Anasto just need to actually duel with them on the backside of their wall to get a few more points. It's Hottie down below. They have to actually deal with 230 is all they need. The 376 mark is where they need to get to catch up to first place. DKS takes out Putrick and is still popping off. Mats running low, need a siphon fast.
They're looking for someone to fall into that grid. They're opening up pre-edits and waiting patiently for any soft mats to trip them up and get a double shot. Queasy gets one.
The big drop down. Queasy gets one. There's some more all the way rattling on the roof, but there's no chance they can find these wraps reversed. Can they? Yes, they can. And us with a big shot. Just a disruption, though. Nothing fully confirmed. And now they're actually running out of time on the backside. Hottie with a crazy edit. Queasy with one.
Oh, no.
Queasy with a siphon. He does get the elimination before he goes out. So smart for the points. They just want to catch up. Noah Riley, though, he wants to win. Janice going down. It looks like a solo situation. So many knocked bodies. Noah Riley, last game, denied. This one looking for the acceptance for a visa all the way in. He's looking for the one. It looks so good. 2 for the finish. Noah Riley is magnificent, and he's still going forward in this final 1v1. A solo expert, but can he find his way towards?
He did it.
He did it. Noah Riley with the clutch, the VR, a chance for his team to catch up. What a play.
He's been wiping out Trio play, and by the way of the gun, he gets the biggest moment in the Grand Royale and netting himself a victory royale. And no doubt, Sayo, I'm telling you, that's gonna have to put him in first place, baby.
A photo finish there at the end of the game as well. 389 points, and we saw so many teams go down before. 8 eliminations on himself as well. This is a man that gets angry when he gets denied a win, and he comes back strong.
Dude, he sauced that. He sauced that in game. Dude, he just went bananas, man. What a great run for Noah Riley. And I just, we always make this joke, in Fortnite, when you eliminate someone, you kind of take their power, because he's just eliminating everybody. He's just absorbing all their power. And right now, he's just super Noah Riley right now.
Yeah, just a bull in a china shop all the way towards Elo Crash in that last moment. But as we sweep up the glass in the place, we'll toss it over to Zeke, Levin, and Reese to see what they think of that phenomenal performance.
Okay, I'd like to show you what that looked like. He's just down there. It's like, somebody call an ambulance. But not for me, is what we just witnessed transpire right here. I cannot believe that's over a 100-point game. We just saw a 100-point game not that long ago, Reese and Levin, and then we just get the run back. Noah Riley, if this is true, if you're absorbing everyone's power, you become too powerful, okay? We need to have a talk, friend, because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what cereal you're having, but I'd like to start eating it myself.
No, you know what, Zeke? It's one of these things where, you as a resident Fortnite, competitive community person or whatever, you constantly say, yeah, no, Riley, he's got the best mechanics in the world, right? And so, like, for a layman, you might come in and think, oh, if he's got the best mechanics, why isn't he doing what Thomas is doing? Why isn't he doing what Chapek is doing? Look, he's doing it now, right? Like, and this is why people talk about this guy so highly, because he has the ability to do this in any given moment. And there was no bigger moment to do it than this. This is an absolute classic. Some of these shots are just unreal, unthinkable. What a player, what a man. Noah Riley.
And the 1 HP, the 1 tick victory royale. What a huge clutch for them. What's interesting, in all honesty, is we look back to the FNCS that just happened. They had a stinky first day, but they got over their total points. 83% of their points were done on the second day. And they did not play so badly day number 1 of this tournament. And it still looks to be exactly the same, that they're just going to pop off when it matters. 300, not 200, 397 points. First place for them. Notice the top 4 teams right here. Look at the victory royales. Every single victory royale out of the 9 games they played has been from the top 4 teams.
So basically, everybody else is rubbish, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Hey, look.
Obviously not.
Another note on Vidal, Janice, and O'Reilly is genuinely right. When you look at the decision making from Janice, I know O'Reilly just had that crazy pop off, but one thing that's really impressed me, Janice's decision making in the end game's really been a platform to allow Vidal and O'Reilly to have their pop offs, right? Because they're consistently in end game, they're consistently on clear layers where they have so many options, so many angles, and it's really been effective for them. Again, another game where we just see another team jumping on first place and another team sort of entered into that competition to try win it all. Now, we're going to come down to the wire. I know we are, and the biggest event we've had since World Cup, going down to the final game, it's going to be crazy. Look, some of these teams down here still have a chance of putting themselves in that conversation, right? You need one of these big 100-point games that we've just seen. It's clearly not out of the realms of possibility. You just have to be, just really, really good. You have to be on your game right now.
I want to quickly go back to what you're saying about Janice in being part of this team. He's actually created them no longer just being a high ground playstyle team. When I watch back through the Cash Cups, the other tournaments they've played, they have now the ability to tunnel to Tarp, to use that mechanical prowess from No Really and Vidal just to frag out. And then right at the end, when they start to have no other plays, that's the time to go over high ground. That's the time to do exactly what we just saw from No Really, pop off, pick off tons of eliminations and the victory royale too. So now they're versatile as a team.
And it's not
I love it.
It's tunneling and topping at an elite level. Right?
Yes.
So,
It's good. It's good, right? It's all about opportunity, right? You create those opportunities for Noel Riley to just go in, right? Like, it's literally like a special operations team. There's always the guy that, like, plants the C4 on the door, and they're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, we're going in. That's what's happening right now. But you heard the battle bus beep, beep, which means we got to go. It's time. We're jumping into more of the action here from the Grand Royale.
Just 2 more games on the docket, and we are going to be rewarding some trio $600,000. If you're just tuning in, do not go anywhere for these next 2 games, because whoever's been winning a victory royale has been getting in first place. That's been sitting in the top 5 or so. And Shiloh, that's how close it's coming down to it. The boys mentioned it on the desk. Our top 5, our top 4 is filled with everyone who's been winning throughout the entire tournament.
1 second. Let me make a phone call for this real quick. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Brr, brr. Hi, conductor. Can we slow it down? The games are going too fast. Verstash is already knocked down. Pickaxed away by Savage. Already the final 2 games that we're on. And this fight has gone on for 2 gruesome days. It's not a battle. It is a multi-year war at this point. Benji Fishy is going to get another shakedown here. And they definitely have to be the ones getting the profits out of this one, Sancho. They got Shizo coming back in. All in. They were disengaging before, and now it's just same old, same old.
If Benji and Dredda and Savage want to be in the conversation, they need to do something this game. It's going to require 2 games from them and someone in the top 4 to drop. That's how it's going to be. That's how far behind everybody is that's sitting, but like 6 through 10, and this team right now is sitting in 11th place, Shy.
225 points still. They have a little bit of a pedestal to kind of catch up in one game and then pop off in the last. It's just everything on the line, right? I love saying it. We all love saying it. This team just needs a double-digit VR to be in the business. But, like, it never really happens, Like, there's a chance. It's a very small one. Even Lusha, Sapping, Future have been fighting off spawn over and over. They get free for 1 game. They're back in Sancho, but if every team has that condition, no one does then, right? Only one can really get it.
And this is going to matter to them. And they're currently sitting in 8th place. And they go ahead and crack into that top 5. You're talking about a prize pool difference that literally doubles from 60,000 to 120,000. A lot harder to do without Putrid here, considering now it's going to be a 2v1 with Astro sitting on the high ground.
Astro usually the one that's knocked first. And we had Michael and Verox fighting to try to redeem everything from here. Neb's going down once again. Pink will find the trade. So Morning Complex might be open for anyone who's trying to, roll in and claim that POI once more, but we saw the way it didn't really work out for Musash's team last game. This will be a little bit of a disengage overall. To talk about that top 5, Sancho, things are getting pretty intense there and shaking up.
If you're looking at the scoreboard, folks, going into this, the deal, Janice and Noah Riley with 397 points, standing tall. They were able to overtake with that 100-point performance here. Second place, Hen, Tayson, and Janice. Chapix with 379 points. In third place, Seti, Kemi, and Teak with 378. But that's the kind of teams, I mean, they're consistent. They will pop off. They're matching their elimination. So if you're a deal, Janice and Noah Riley, you don't feel comfortable. It's a completely different ball game in comparison to the previous FNCS. Seti, Kemi, and Teak at this time, they put the entire thing on snooze. They put that down and they were able to win, and they walked away with the prize money. Right now, having Believer Beach, I'm just trying to think. Last season, it was Crow and Co. that came in that kind of caused a ruckus. They were kind of slowing down this trio, getting knocks on, they were making things a mess. But this bubble, Believer Beach, is working out for them today.
Definitely is. Once again, you're right, though, right? Like, no one can really be comfortable here, and this has to be the most uncomfortable team right now, even though they're pretty happy with that last game. But Dylan O'Reilly, Janice, 12 Elam win overall. Big issue, though, is that they're now just in the conversation of the top 3, right? It was a top 2 situation, Tayson versus Cammy's team. Who's better? Who's cooler? Janice O'Reilly deal just came in. They only have about a 10, 15-point-ish lead. Here's that fight from Dirty Docs, by the way, that we were just watching. Well, you're trying to clap back, but when you have low ground, there's just nothing you can really do.
And now we're seeing what's happening at Corning Complex and how Pink and Co. went down here. Actually, they were able to convert that. We saw Nebs go down. Pink and Co. were able to get the job done and survive it. So they're going to be able to, no doubt, reboot Nebs and bring it back. It's always a good feeling to bring it back. And Cammy said and Teak are trying to bring it back for that back-to-back. And, all this FNCS, we have a lot of champions in here, about 15 or so, who've been a part of either solos, and duos, or trios championships. But we haven't really had a back-to-back or a 2-time full trio FNCS champion here in the EU region.
True. Does this count officially as, like, one of the FNCSs or just a Grand Royale?
I'll count.
I always wanted to. I should have asked that question earlier.
We saw Tayson was able to win the All-Star, right? And a lot of people consider that as an FNCS.
Do we take the axes away from the old champions then, or is it possible to work with
you got to ask Zeke, right?
About that. Zeke. We should know this. Like, this is honest.
Well, no, a couple know Zeke.
Zeke is the axe maker. Right. You know what I mean?
He's the axe maker.
He's
right.
overloaded because it would be. I haven't heard a mention of it. Usually there's a story from Zeke, so I would assume not. And I hope not too. These guys just got the axe. They want to probably just hold on to it for a little bit, chill. Winning the last FNCS is the best because you have the biggest time slot. Just got to keep it too, right?
I just got word. It counts as an FNCS championship, but not an FNCS for the AXA champions. Zeke, okay. Zeke got to, can't put in that OT.
Give him a break for the holidays. You know what I mean?
Can't put in that OT.
Nice. Cool. Well, still, it matters a lot to these players because, first of all, it is the final trio competition we're kind of looking at, right? At the major
prize pool as well.
The prize pool is a big thing, too. Usually, $100,000 per player will be the split rolling in, doubling that up entirely. And most FNCS is a $300,000 first place for EU. 600K, Sancho. What would you do with 200 grand yourself?
I would buy a keyboard that I could help out with my mates.
Okay, you have 200 grand, you buy a keyboard, bro?
Yeah.
For real?
I want to be able to think. I want to be able to win again. You know what I mean?
What? Okay, I respect it. I understand the grind.
Yes, it's all about the grind. You know what I mean? Nah, but seriously, this is life-changing money. This is life-changing money for these young professionals. This could jumpstart a future big name in the scene. You've seen what it's changed the life. Let's take a look at a replay of an earlier fight. And we've been seeing this. Ario, they did really well in the in-game last game.
Yes, Aurero. Let me check exactly where he is at the moment. So they were rolling in 17th place overall after that last game. I'm looking at their match history, kind of looking like, my grades in high school, down atrocious. But then we picked it back up, right? Grade 11, 12 came in, and that's what it's looking like right now for these guys as well. The end of their senior years, they're kind of wrapping things up properly. 6th place, 4 Elam, sticking to the pattern, and stopping Titans really from controlling the game. I'm pretty sure they're the ones that take out Aqua's team in one of these games and some other big names. So they're fighting really well. I think they're finally finding their groove inside these finals.
It reminds me of Nebs' trio in previous FNCS seasons. They would be the one that have a lot of eliminations into the top 10. When it's all coming down to it, they got 2 games here. You're seeing that there's a lot of the big names that still yet to win the FNCS Vidil, Noah O'Reilly. You still have Thomas HD and Nas have yet to win the FNCS that kind of round out that top 4. So a lot of first-time opportunities here. And, of course, Janice will be the 3-time FNCS champion, so that's going to be exciting to see. And we're taking a look at some of the stats here. The last 3 seasons, high ground teams in EU by 7th zone have won less than 50% of the games. And that is called the Cami Teak and Seti. That's their problem. That's what's caused all that.
Yeah, but the pattern's kind of been checkered, at least on day number 1. We saw the back-to-back from Queasy, Thomas HD, and Anas. Those are both from height, I'm pretty sure, right? And then Seti, Kemi, and Teak, I'm pretty sure, also took height overall in the 7th, 6th zone to win their game. And then after that, I think they kind of went back down to low again, and there were some things going on there. But today it has been what patterns have been looking like historically in EU, and that's very good for Seti, Kemi, and Teak. They're still in 3rd place, though.
Question: is someone else going to get a victory out here in this lobby besides these 4 trios?
So the most interesting
that's a big one. That's a big question.
Yeah. To make it interesting, I think Queasy and Austin Thomas HD getting a win would really make the top 4 very, very close. Because the thing is, no matter what happens, oh, hold up, is this another Shadow Cube drop? Or is it just a hunt for Astro? It's hunt for Astro. Okay, we're chilling. The big thing is, when you're talking about what you were saying before, right? Like who can get the win really, and how would it change things? If it's Queasy and Austin Thomas HD, we have 4 teams. No matter who it is, our top 3 will still be very consistent. They're not going down before top 10, really. Look at Seti, Kemi, Teak's history, right? 1st, 7th, 9th, 10th, Taste and Chapix, 6th, 1st, 11th. Everyone's doing pretty well to stay in the business. So whoever it is, I think if it's in the top 5, top 6, that'll really make things interesting. If it's anyone further past that, they're stealing points away and also making the game a lot closer inside the top 5.
Force going down in the feed. Asian FNCS champion. But this is what exactly right now, the top 3 or top 4 running a clean race. Nothing throwing a wrench in their plan. No one's going down early. There's nothing shocking is happening right now. So we're still waiting with a bated breath to get into the mid. That's where the things get kind of dicey. Like who's not doing the Storm Surge? Tayson and Hen and Chapas here are going to need this tags right here. And there you talked about, they've been going up against, that's not a good trio to kind of push against considering they've been doing really well and taking out big names.
I like to give trios tags. For me, Orero is just kind of like a sea urchin. Every time this team tries to walk up to them, first of all, they don't understand what they're dealing with. They're just going to have a good time and go for Surge. They step on him, get spiky, and just roll into a lot of toxic type of fights. You know, some barbed wire inside that, I don't think sea urchins have barbed wires, but
no.
It's the closest thing, but...
Well, when I went on vacation on a cruise, man, there's nothing scarier than seeing like 20 sea urchins on the floor, on the sea floor, and you're just like trying not to step on one. They hurt, brother.
And these guys are on like height. This is sky sea urchins. Sky urchins, man. It's getting crazy and wild in EU. We're making mythical beasts.
Be careful, because we might see a sky urchin next season. Yeah, don't give anyone else ideas right now. Flying waves,
we're chilling.
Moving, holding down the center of the map, and we're taking a look at all position here. Looks like the 2nd zone has caused a lot of our players to set up in this mountainous area. We've seen this before in the previous day, and Scram, thankfully, there is not a bolt sniper here. Still is going to be able to keep in this fight. Let's take a look at a replay here of Nebs. They were able to survive one engagement here, but not this one. The Dirty Dogs trio, Michael Verox and co. rolling through. Ooh,
oh my God.
Ooh, that was a nice quick edit there to get that elimination. And here we are, Anas. We talked about that 4th place team. If they get this victory out, that's going to make things quite interesting going into the final frame.
I have PTSD from this position, though. I need to look directly above Anas, all the way in the sky. I know his team wasn't the one to get taken out, but every time I see a solo player in a bush, I expect a Shadow Cube opponent to land in and go for the 1 pump.
There's nothing like a Shadow Spectre as our ops team's going to take a look. So far, clear. Noah O'Reilly, the deal now in this box fight against Swag. First time seeing Swag and Pablo. And Bloomy, oh no, on the wrong end of the ops team. You don't want to be here getting another barrel stuff. The deal, knocking out Bloomy. We're just seeing this is what's happened in the previous game. They get a clean box fight. The Janice Vidil and Noah O'Reilly got to quickly wrap this up because the 3rd team is here, Shayo.
To balance this team, we need to put police sirens wherever they're kind of walking around. I don't think it's fair for first of all, a team to be able to fight them, but not know you're fighting Noah, Riley, Vidil, forcing themselves inside your box. They're just making quick work of this. Sancho, we've watched fights for minutes on end inside the mid game. They're wrapping it up in seconds.
This is not the fight you want to take right now, though. We saw it before. They will go down when someone from a different angle will show up.
It might have to be a fight they must take, though. Just 55 damage above, now 129. The reason they're here, the reason they're fighting is Surge.
I know. It just looks scary. It just looks
hold up.
super scary, man.
55 all the way up to 241. They're fine, and they forced everyone else to get crazy around them. Pablo, Wingo, and Swag kind of in trouble. Sneak going for a big revive. Force finally down, and that's Malabuka down once again on the backside. He's trying to recuperate, do anything. Once again, we talk a lot about first, right, Sancho, in the 600K. Look at the entire prize pool breakdown. Everything's kind of doubled, even for the teams who are down to the bottom, right, all the way at 33rd place. They still have a lot to do, and that is Bad Sniper's team, to elevate, not just walk away with 9,000, but even more, double that, if you play these last two games very well.
The jump up from the prize pool is monstrous once you get into the top 10. You go from 9,000 in the 26 to 33rd, and you go to 44. And Vidil and Janice, no Riley, they want it all. They want that $600,000, and Janice eliminates Bad Sniper. So that run of doubling up your efforts to collecting the bag from Bad Sniper gets halted quickly here. But I like this. They're jabbing into this fight. They're taking a jab. Once they see that opening, the overhand right coming right over and getting that knockoff blow. And considering that they're satisfied with the work they've done, they're going to go ahead and disengage.
Yeah, one of the closest teams towards the zone as well. They get to choose when everyone leaves, and Vidil keeps getting blocked. I want to hear what the comms are like if you ever had an opportunity in terms of players in front of you putting walls down behind. All good, though. Scram. Benji Fishy took out Hellfire. He gets a reboot up at Lazy Lake, but I'm pretty sure Benji will know that, and that's just free points for him to farm.
Here it is, and maybe Tayson and Hen Chapix will be able to take advantage again. Benji and Dread and Savage, they cannot go down in this opportunity, and we've been seeing Lazy Lake being one of those things where the storm goes through. A lot of teams will be able to survive and get a lot of placement points. So if you're even a solo, you have a fighter's chance to doing well for your team. But Benji gets knocked from Scram, who has just been resurrected through the van.
Yup, and then we see Hen Chapix Tayson still going in for that beam. In terms of Benji, though, a team that might be running out of steam overall from 7th place. Yeah, they're stacked overall game to game, but now all the way down to 11th, now down 2 players. It's going to be tough for Savage to clutch it overall.
You can just see right now, insert that gif of the guy, you know, wringing his hands, going, ooh, we got a third-party opportunity here. That's what Hen Chapix and Tayson are doing, taking advantage of that, and they might get more opportunities walking their way.
Really good dynamic position from them, too. Hen Chapix and Tayson got in very, very quickly and claimed one of the bigger hills over here all the way at Lazy Lake. It's crazy how Scram got Hellfire back into this game. Look at his loadout now, so much better. Oh, they were the ones to get knocked by Benji, but then they turn it all the way around, bait him after that reboot. Was nuts.
This trio is in 5th place, so they put together one of those games that could put them in. Let's take a look at a replay here. Scram recently being rebooted, just using the old school crouch technique and surprising and stopping that res and getting a knock on Benji. And here's a pop off from Scram. We had a great interview with him during the hype hour, and Scram is feeling it.
It's just great from him too, just to be able to get a teammate back up into the game from the side of Hellfire, and then get ahead of the game by stealing away all of Steamy Stacks' loot.
And that's the second time that Andretti's trio has been the wrong end, or, you know, they've been going down after someone gets brought back in. Queasy did the same thing. He brought him back in, and all of a sudden they go down. So some bad vibes are happening in the mid-game for Benji and co.
Look at the top side, though. One of the biggest things is that every single team has been super consistent. That's really good to kind of maintain your spot in the top 5, but that also means without these crazy pop-offs, right? The crazy double-digit Elan games when you are ahead, you miss one game, you're going to be down bad. Down atrocious, actually, and super colossally because of this format when the points are double.
That's what's been happening to Kefi. Kefi is slid. It's that tragic FNCS slide. As you've seen, he's not even in the overall leaderboard here in the top 5. We've been seeing him throughout the entire tournament, but now that is what's at stake of people walking into this match.
let's change it over to the top 4. That's really the conversation right now. Usually it is top 5, but you look at Flows, Hellfire, and Scram, they're kind of on their little own island, battling with Kefi, battling with Hadi, Locras, and ETQ. The top 4 are past that 350 point limit, past the 360 point limit. One of these teams needs to make a difference right now in this game.
Let's take a moment here and wait. Storm Surge. Okay, they're just above. That is still bad, folks. If you're thinking, oh, they're above, that's cool. No, it's the moving Storm Surge that will be a factor. So Queasy and Austin Thomas HC are have to pick carefully at what engagement they want. If they get the tags, great. If not, they're going to have to knock on someone's door to ask for those Storm Surge tags.
It's kind of like getting an exam result that just gets worse the more you look at it. So, like, try not to too much. Just focus on exactly what's happening in front of you. They were at 94 all the way down to 38. That means every other team around them is really dropping down damage, and they're very close to that kind of just not having enough damage line whatsoever. The bad line, no other team's really fighting. They're in that position as well. Look over at height. Who is it? Hot off the last game with Dio, Noah, Riley, Janice. Complete control. Have a sight line on the entire circle. Depending on where this goes, you can really change the game up here. And it goes not towards them. Max.
Oh no, wait a minute.
At the same time, Noah Riley needs to survive. Vidil low HP. This is because the team in front of them that's probably fighting is low on Surge as well. Vidil's in trouble. Noah Riley has to clutch against the 9th zone right now. 12 above. They're also going to be hurt by Surge.
This is going to be one of those nightmare situations that Noah Riley, Janice, and Vidil have to wake up for. Dipping into the heels to withstand it. Vidil gets elimination on Bound. Nicely done to Vidil. Stop the push, but oh no! Down goes Janice. Janice is in trouble here. Wait, no, Janice is still on his feet. Okay, that's my mistake. No, there it is. He finally goes down. Noah Riley, Vidil. This is how fast it happens, folks. In the blink of an eye, you're sitting up at high, feeling good, and someone sneaks up on you. And Vidil and Noah Riley may have to do this by themselves, considering that their 2-time FNCS champion has been eliminated.
You heard what Levin said as well. Janice is the reason Noah Riley and Vidil get to play these games so free. Sanfi, the last person, pumped out. Noah Riley gets that elimination. No, it's actually stolen by Voon all the way in the distance. He can't find the launch pad.
No.
That might be one of the most clutch chunk splashes as well. Would have had just 1 HP rolling in. Maybe he can survive a pump shot while he lands. He gets in. No one touched Noah Riley in the sky. He's alive, and he finds Vidil. The duo's there. Their pilot is down. Maybe the comms are enough to get them towards the end game.
They're going to have to rely on them as a duo. I know FNCS's duo is coming down the pipe, but Noah Riley and Vidil, in order to hold on to first place, we're about to cross another placement threshold bonus here. Just 2 more places. It would be huge for them if they could just stay on their feet.
And one of the most dynamic forces inside EU, but you have to remember, they're both usually the ones being active as well inside these end games. They're going to be nerfed by half. One of these players will have to build, while the other one just tries to survive the entire time and follows through. Meanwhile, Cammy on the bottom left, 388 points. He's going to be next in line right beside Tayson at 389. Everyone looking to catch up around 50 points behind the first place competition. And they saw Janice go down in the feed. They know what's up for stakes. These top 4 teams need to hold on till the top 4. If any one of them go down early, they lose a chance at first place inside this Grand Royale.
That's why it's so vital as a duo. They could stay up and eat up those placement points, match it. They have those eliminations that were able to boost their lead just a little bit here. And oh no, they go for that edit over peak, and Teak pays the price here. He's gonna have to put on pause on this rotate, flies over the height, and doesn't get any tag. This is gonna go near Gorgeous Gorge. It feels like it could bounce back up north towards it, but very scariest terrain, and that's why Teak and Cammy do not want to be on the low ground. They want to operate right now as a mid to high ground team.
I like the thought process of Teak, though. He might have missed on that last edit. The next one, though, fully still confident, not even wavered, going for a little bit more damage. Look at Sunny start once again, but as we get towards the zones, we have the top-tier team of high ground inside of here to try to get control. Down below Surge, though, you're right, Sancho. Anas does go down. All up to Thomas and Queasy to try to keep the dream alive. 100 damage will get Thomas HD above that Surge as well. Queasy somewhere lost in the sauce down below. He has no shields. That's to just activate by himself as a solo player, supporting the big build of Thomas HD. But Thomas is way high in the sky in the clouds. He can't see anyone really down below. It might be a downpour of shots as well that they have to throw, but these players down below have umbrellas. They have protection. There's no way a duo can just crack down on the mid-ground level of height. There's so much of a difference between high and low right now. Look at all the teams. It's Reason and Fastroki with Aqua, who actually built forward inside inside the zone and try to pull high ground as well. Thomas HD forced to go down. The rain is over. The new gods are here to stay on height and claim back the game.
Aqua doing Aqua things and going ahead and building up the height, stopping Thomas HD and Queasy's run. You saw on the feed, Noah Riley picked up another 4-point out by Clement, so it's all going to be to the deal to see if he could be able to hold on and get those valuable points. Thomas HD, Queasy, now it's Thomas HD, and no, they're gone. Tayson and Hen now as a duo are going to be able to overtake their spot. It's all happening right now. Here goes Tayson, now he has the solo clutch, has to dip into the FNCS solo clutch gene to see what he can do for his trio. Enemies on box, enemies above, enemies below, but he is not wavered. He is not afraid. He's just taking his time. 30 tag, not enough, Shio, and he's got to go down into the shadows of the low ground.
Yep, and as all of these distractions happen on every single layer, who's there on low? Seti and Teak still alive. Less shields, they're gonna thrive though. Tayson as a solo, trying to hold on to some form of lead, 429 points. The placement's doubled up and it's really coming in. This medkit might be a popular position to pop as well, but it's not gonna be possible as he goes all the way down towards low ground. This is trouble, this is desperation. No walls over here, and might be able to be seen through these edits, but no, Incognito, he's looking fine. Teak and Seti, though, they're down.
They're down and out, and right now Aqua is now on height here, but we are focusing on the tournament live at Tayson. Tayson with the two-piece. Tayson's not going down without a fight.
That's just absolutely catastrophic.
8
team
points.
in front of them.
8
What a
points.
driving force by Tayson. 8 points and the placement rattle in. Pablo Wingo will try to survive this onslaught of a big power team. He's going to be buying himself barely any materials, hashed out in 3 different ways. Aqua, Reason, Fast Roki finally alive to open their eyes.
They get the victory royale, but the clutch by Tayson here, able to hold on. But hey, the rest of the lobby has decided to play in this FNCS Grand Finals, and they're making an appearance. But Tayson right now looking strong.
In Grand Royale formats like this and tournaments that are this close, it's a game of inches towards the very end. What Tayson just did might be the difference maker in this last game. That was just so impressive. That far down in the line, low HP, the first 175. To get the second elimination is nuts. But for Aqua, Fast Roki and Reason to be activated now, Sancho, I mean, you must be happy for that, number one. Second off, that is a lethal force that's ready to play the game.
I'm happy. Not about me, though. You know, Aqua is no doubt the GOAT. Aqua is going to be able to put his boys in position of Fast Roki and Reason. If they just have to do it again. It was when Aqua did his Aqua thing, jumping to the front side of Storm, dipping into the Storm to eat that damage and be able to build up. And that's when it kind of turned the tide here. But maybe the tide is turning. That's the first time we had a victory royale that hasn't been accrued by our top 4.
Absolutely. The door is kind of open now to see who the leader is of all these trios, but only one can really fit in. Who has those broad shoulders? Who's blocking everyone else out? Well, Zeke, Levin, and Reese, they've got the answers.
Man, talking about broad shoulders, it's only you, Shot Wager. You know, someone else in this world. Wow, my goodness. Aqua, Fast Roki, Reason. They start that game in 23rd place. Now, they have a victory royale, 9 eliminations. We talked about it. What, the 10 points being 100, so they're just below that line. But let's take a look at this. This is that kind of key moment, right, Levin? They have enough, they pat on over, and they take high. They say, whatever happens, we're going to lock down this game because we want the W.
Yeah, look, we've always known that Aqua's sort of philosophy around the game is playing for height, and so it was coming, right, Reese? Like, this game was eventually going to happen. As bad as they seemingly have been over the past sort of day or two, it was going to come eventually. And look, this is a team that, in theory, you could have seen doing a lot better. Of course, Sancho predicted them to win the whole thing because, you know, you look at Stroke, you look at Reason, 2 of the most talented players in the sort of whole region in the world.